Hi everyone, in today's tutorial I'll be taking us on how to draft a culotte. So the first thing we are going to do is to take 2 inch from top of the paper down. So we're going to take 2 inch from top of the paper down. So this is actually going to serve as our waistline. So 2 inch from top of the paper down. So after we are done with that, with the help of the pencil and the ruler, to trace the line out, trace the horizontal line out. Like I say, this is going to serve as our waistline. So when we are done with that, the next thing we're going to do is to measure out a vertical line. So this vertical line is actually going to serve as the crotch, where the crotch is actually going to come in. So in getting this vertical line, so we're actually working with the back. So in getting this vertical line, we are going to use your hip circumference. You divide your hip circumference by 10. So since it's the back, you're dividing the hip circumference by 10. So my hip circumference is 40. Divided by 10 is 4. So now 4 is the actual measurement plus 1 inch. I added 1 inch to it. The 1 inch now serve as the allowance. So now making it a total of 5 inch. So I'm measuring 5 inch from the edge of the paper now out. So after doing that, with the help of the pencil and the ruler, now I trace out the line. So the vertical line now serves as our crotch line. So that's where the crotch is going to come in. So the next thing now, I'm going to measure the hip, the hip line. Measure the hip line from the waistline down. Measure the hip line from the waistline down. So that's the hip line. After you measure the hip line, with the help of the ruler and the pencil, now you trace out the line. So that's the hip line. So the next line we're going to measure out now is the crotch line, or would like say the crotch length. Just watch what I'm doing, you understand. That's another crotch line. Or will I say crotch length? My crotch length is actually 14, but I'm making it 17 since it's a culotte, so it needs to come down. Has to come down. It's not the normal pants trouser, so this has to come down. So it's 17. So the next line now is the knee line. So that's where, or will I say the the length in which you want the culotte to stop. So I'm measuring it out. So that's the length in which I want the culotte to stop. It can be on your knee level, it can be 3/4. So with the help of a pencil and ruler now, I'm going to trace the line out again. So that's the line. Like I said, this is actually the back. So now I'll label it. So this is the waistline. That's the hip line. The crotch line, and finally the knee line. So that's all about that. So the next thing now is to start applying the measurements now. Like I said, I'm working with the back. So whatever you're doing to the back is the same thing you're going to do to the front. The only difference now is that vertical crotch line. Like I said, the vertical crotch line, and getting the vertical crotch line for the back, you're going to divide your hip circumference by 10. Divide your hip circumference by 10. That's how to get the back vertical line. Then for the front, you're going to divide your hip circumference by 20. You divide your hip circumference by 20. Like I said before, my hip circumference is 40. So when I divide my hip circumference by 20, 40 divided by 20, it will give me 2. To give me 2. So for the back, you divide the hip circumference by 10. It gives me 4. For the front, divide the hip circumference by 20. It gives me 2. So that's how to divide it. So after placing the measurements now, you connect it. So it's looking like a skirt. Now looking at it, it looks like a skirt. So I'm done placing all the measurements now from the waist to the hip. So you can see the hip line aligns down to the what? The hip line, the crotch, everything they are the same apart from the waistline. So after I'm done with that now it's time to place the crotch. Now you can see I've measured the 4-inch now out. So I've measured out the 4-inch now with the help of the ruler and a pencil. I trace it out. So the next thing now, with the help of the armhole curve now, so with the help of the armhole curve, okay, you can see what is happening there. So I've brought out the crotch, brought out the crotch. So since it's 4-inch, I measure out. So I'll measure that 4-inch down to that knee line. But still with the help of a pencil and the ruler now we'll trace out the line. So we'll trace out the line. Please, in case you're watching this video and you have not subscribed to my channel, do well to press the subscribe button so you can get notified of all my videos each time I upload. So after we're done with that part now, we're done with that part. You can see how it looks like there. So after we're done with that part, the next thing now is to bring out the dart. The next thing is to bring out the dart. So this is the dart line. So using my bust radius, which is 3.5, measure out the dart line. So after I'm done with that, with the help of a pencil and a ruler, trace out the line. The next thing is to place the dart 1/2 inch to the other side, 1/2 inch to side. Then I'm going to connect it down, connect it down to the hip line. connect it down to the hip line. So after I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do now is, okay, I forgot to add something. So that 1/2 inch I added to that place, I'm actually going to take it away from the back. Now remember, I said in the skirts pattern that we tutorial that our back is actually not straight. So we just need to take something out from the back, so that the dress will sink in. So that's actually what I'm doing here. So that 1/2 inch I added to the other side, so I'm taking it out from the back. So by the time I'm done with everything, when you're putting on the dress, it's going to sink into or balance at the back. So that's exactly what I did there. So after doing that, the next thing, I bring down another 1/2 inch. Just watch carefully what I'm doing. So I bring down the 1/2 inch now. So before I connect the line, so this is what I'm going to do. I'll fold, first of all, fold the darts. Fold the darts. Then with the help of the pencil now, help of the pencil. So I connect the line now to the other part. Connect the line, you can see. Then with your tracing wheel, you can see what is happening there. You trace the line out now. Now connect the line back. Now we have our new line. Okay, so this is our new line. So the next thing I'm doing here is just to bring out the band of the culotte. So I'm bringing out the band. The waistband. So this is it. That's the band. So I'm done with that. I've cut it out. So I've also drew the line down, because the next thing you're going to do is to slash and spread. That's the reason why I brought out the waistband. So we are not going to make use of the waistband. We're not going to slash the waistband. So everything we are doing is just on the body. So I've drawn the line. So the next thing now is to cut from the line. So we're going to cut from the line. Like I said, this is a culotte and not the normal pant trouser or palazzo. So this is how we draft it. So the paper I brought aside is to place underneath it. Just watch. So ensure you cut it to the edge, carefully to the edge without cutting it out. Okay. So this is it. So the next thing now is to place is to place, you can see, you place the paper underneath it like so. So this is how we did it. So I had to do it off camera. So before placing the paper underneath it, you have to draw a line. So this line is going to serve like a guide. So now it will help you to place the paper properly. So you measure from one part the amount you want to slash it with. I used 4 inch for one side and 4 inch to the other side. So the 4 inch is not constant. So depending on how much you want to slash. So I'm done with it. 4 inch on one part and 4 inch on the other part. So after you're done with that, you just tape it the way you see it, then connect the lines together again. So the next thing now is to cut out the excess paper. By this time you've added all your allowances on the pattern. So you cut out the excess pattern there. Cut it out like so. Add your allowances before you cut out. So like I said, the same thing you do to the front. Sorry, the same thing you do to the back, because this is actually the back. It's the same thing you also do to the front. The only difference is with the crotch area. So this is all about how to draft a culotte. Oh, this is it. This is how it looks like. So when you're done like this, the next thing is to place it on the fabric you want to work with. So for the band now, see the wife, we have to fold that. I have to fold that